Okay. Let me turn this phone off.
We're going backwards. Did you know this? Yeah. From the lowest. But we don't have this painting, so put it up the Texas.
Oh, we
Nancy Tankersley, whenever he says.
Okay.
You put the, oh, yeah.
I love Texas. You know, I used to give Texas a hard time. I mean, I can't figure out why that would ever be, right? But, you know, I was from Colorado, so, you know, Texans. But I came to my senses after I started coming to San Angelo, and I have repented from all of those things that I said about you Texans. So now I want to be one. Well, not quite. Wyoming's working out real well. So thank you all for being here. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here a second year in a row. It's, you know, my dear friend Sarah Linda Foley back in Easton, Maryland, was set to be the judge, and because of COVID and whatnot, she couldn't be here. So I was very honored to be asked to do a repeat performance. It doesn't get easier the second time around. I think it may have gotten harder this time around. So I'm going to be not too lengthy today, but I would love to just tell you a little bit about each of the paintings that I selected. I just want to just really thank you, though, for allowing me this great honor. The show this year was equally difficult to judge as last year's was. The artwork, it's always a case for the judge would like to have additional awards, and so it keeps it very competitive, and all of the artists in the show stepped up to the plate in a big way. There were several artists that I did not know prior to being here. That's always fun, because sometimes it seems like I know everybody, but of course every day I learn about somebody new, and that was certainly the case here in this year's show, and some outstanding new additions to the show. It's always interesting. So Michael Obermeyer, I should reference him, he was the juror for the show this year, and Michael's a fine artist. I met him first in Laguna and admired his own artistic work a great deal, and he chose very wisely to end up with the roster of artists that you have here today. So thank you once again. The thing about this show, and I think it was last year, was the first time that the body of work was shown. Prior to that, the year before, Don Demers, my dear artist friend from Maine, was the judge, and I had been the juror for him, and there was just two paintings each. And so the real merits of this approach to have a wall of artwork so that we can see a body. So maybe there are 6 or 8, or I don't know what the most on the walls were, 9 or 10 maybe. But for the judge, that's a great advantage, because any artist, you know, and this is not to be mean, but any artist, whoever you are, you can be a one-hit wonder. You can hit a couple of great paintings, and the rest can be fairly mediocre. And so this really puts you to the test when you're going to hang a body of work here. So for the judge, it gives me the ability to look at that artwork and make an assessment. And so this is a real key for you who in the room are collectors. So how many in the room are, I mean, I realize artists are collectors, so I'm going to leave you out for the moment. How many of you are collectors? You buy art, you're not an artist. Yeah, well, easily half. Yeah, good for you. So the beauty for we collectors to be able to look at that many paintings by a single artist, you get a read. You know, there may be one really good painting that you really like, and maybe the rest of them are not as strong. And so it gives you that ability to curate your own collection and to say, I like to see someone who does many good paintings within the span of a week production like you've done here. Interestingly enough, and I referenced it last night when I was announcing the prizes, was the fact that there were several walls that I thought were each one good enough to be the judge's choice for best body of work in the show. That's crazy, and it's wonderful to have that many artists that had that strong of a week of painting. It really speaks to the quality here. So I love that about this. Real briefly, what I look for as a collector, and it's hard to narrow it down to just 3 or 4 points, but my first criteria is skill, ability. I want to see art that's well executed, carefully done. The second part of that is design. I really look for a compelling design, something that makes sense. Thirdly, I want to see a good idea. You know, my good friend Sherry McGraw, often when she speaks, she references that an artwork, an artist and his artwork needs to start with a good idea. And that equates also, in my mind, to storytelling or a narrative. I think that's much harder to do in a landscape painting, is to have a storytelling or a narrative. But it's very possible, as you can see through many of the works that are done here. So, you know, the artist may have their own idea of what they want to convey in that story, in that narrative, but the collector that then buys that painting and gets to live with that for the rest of their life, they get to tell their own story. It has meaning to them. So it's a twofold type of situation where you've got that painting, it tells you the story the artist wanted to communicate, but it gets to be your story as well. The last thing specifically that I want to reference is I love to see a variety in that body of work. So if you're painting saddles, I don't necessarily want to see 8 paintings of saddles, or I don't want to see 8 paintings of cattle. I like to see diversity, and again, same thing here, very successfully. A lot of the artists had the diversity, and not only diversity of subject matter, but there were several artists here that had diversity of medium. So painting in oil as well as watercolor. And I really like that. And that, you know, I just don't want, for lack of to use a cliche, you know, a one-trick pony. You know, it's just really great to have that diversity of subject matter, and then if it happens to be your particular skill set, not everyone that transfers back and forth between watercolor and oil or acrylic, but it's fun when you do see that. So I'm going to move on into the award winners here, and if I can navigate this correctly, special thank you to our major sponsor, Elta Joyce McAfee. She's fabulous, fabulous human being, fabulous for the town here. So this was Nancy Tankersley's, this was the People's Choice Award, Ranch Rhythms, Field Ranch Favorite Award. Nancy is, I think last year, did I give you second place last year, Nancy? Yeah, for the Tankersley house, interestingly enough, that was just a major painting. And this piece is, you know, communicating the luscious land, the light, the shapes, very impressionistic. I love that about it, and obviously being the People's Choice Award, they felt the same way. The sheep that are in the scene, nothing is overworked, everything is juicy and vivid and bright and warm and feels very good. What was the size on this?
14 by 18.
14 by 18, just really a spectacular painting. And I assume that is sold? Yeah, how could it not be? Beautiful, congratulations, Nancy. This was the Gary Tucker piece, Texas Artist Camp Award, Artist Choice, and it was Dawn's Blush. This was one that I looked at as a possible award winner, and turns out that it was the Artist Choice winner, but really, really quiet painting, and this is a watercolor, I'm sure, yes? And so I don't have it noted here in my note, but I'm sure it was. And just the shape on the tree, and it's nothing overworked here, very harmonious in its branching and leaves and shape, and then just the vacant background behind it presents it as the obvious feature and focal choice. Wonderful painting to live with. Congratulations, Gary. This was a fun painting. So this is Matt Barber Kennedy, Best Architectural Painting. I looked at this and I regarded it as fun, which is great, because sometimes that's what you want in a painting. And the tops of the building, you know, his selection of just the upper portions of those buildings downtown, stanced against a violet blue sky with some scattered clouds, set the buildings off wonderfully. Really nice architectural work that gives the I always do love architectural paintings, and this was very successful. The details that you get here in this piece here, and the classic arch on this, lovely with the awnings here. Just a beautiful, beautiful, fun painting. Congratulations again, Matt. This jumped out at me as I'm going through and thinking about now. The category here is best. It's the Water Lily Award, and this is Olena Babak, and the title is Sangria. Vivid, bright, just again, the color of the flower set off against the color of the water. Very simple, not crowded, not busy. Some water lily paintings are very busy, and that's fine, but this is just showcasing those two specific blooms, rich, deep colors. It was a clear choice and easy winner for me. More architecture. This is the Spirit of San Angelo Award, and Brianne Brown, just, you know, and as I recall, I think maybe last year I gave Brianne the Architecture Award again, so a repeated favorite, but the beauty of the buildings and the way that she did catch the sun on the hotel, just a beautiful warmth, simplicity. I love that light that cascades down from the side street there, so you can see the sunlight. Oh, didn't do that. The sunlight laying across the street here, the cars, beautifully done. Congratulations, Brianne. This was great fun. This is the Texas Precious Water Award from Susie Baker, and it was very bold and bright. There were a couple of Susie Bakers that I was very tempted by. I loved the locomotive as well, Susie. It was really a big, juicy piece. But this is, you know, it's always interesting for a judge, because when you have the categories that you have to, it's not simply just judging artwork, but you're judging artwork and you're judging within categories, so you have to find whether it's architecture or water or the spirit of a town, whatever it may be. So sometimes in some shows you're trying to fit square pegs into round holes, but we had enough diversity here, and I'm sure some of the artists must have thought about some of the categories as they were painting. So this Precious Water Award from Susie is just luscious, juicy, the deep blue of the water, and the very abstract nature of the grasses leaning in and the leaves floating on the water. A large piece, and is just vivid, and would be a great addition to someone's house that had a quiet or drab space that they needed to put some punch in. This is it. This was great fun. So, you know, you may have noticed, if you saw, this is John Casciano, the Texas Ranchland Award, and if you saw John's wall, he had, I think, 9 or 10 paintings on the wall. Was it that right, John? About that number? And this is the smallest, I think, of the group. What was this, 8 by 10? 9 by 12? So it's a 9 by 12 painting. So it's the smallest that John had. It was on the very bottom of the wall. I had to get down on the floor to look at it, and that's the case of several of our prize winners, actually. With the luck of the draw, where you have to hang your painting, or where you get to hang your painting. So I was, I'll say, smart enough to take it off the bottom and pick it up and look at it. But lots of times a buyer may not see a painting that's down low. I'm always crawling around in galleries and looking in corners and whatnot, so I'm accustomed to that. But this piece, and the color shows, unfortunately, much different here on the screen than it was, but I immediately thought that it was a painting that was 100 years old. It looked like something that, had been painted by, artists that crossed the prairies in 1870 or 1890, and the very simple butte, the title is Lonesome Butte, that is out there. John told me that he had just finished the large painting of the similar scene, and he had time to do this little sketch, and it just was very compelling to me. It just really one of the best little paintings in the show. Congratulations, John. This is Christopher Leeper, Grasshopper Wind, and this I gave the Judges Award of Distinction to. It was a $1,000 prize. I was very tempted with Christopher to give him the Best Body of Work Award, because I thought so many of his paintings were so well done. There was diversity among them, even though they were primarily landscape. And the way that he captured the light and the shadow and the colors in here, this is, to me, almost a perfect painting. It just spoke to me that way. It was just very lush, very rich, nice size, about 1824 maybe. I don't remember exactly, but 14, 18. It reads big. Yeah, very, very beautiful. I immediately, it was my favorite on your wall, and that was not easy, but it was. You had terrific pieces. Again, I'm overusing the term a little bit, but only in the best of sense that your whole body of work was that good. Congratulations. It's very similar sentiments about all of Mark Shasta's work. Very, very fine. And this was the Museum Purchase Award, which has got to be a great honor for you, Mark, because it's going to stay here in San Angelo, morning at the ranch. The groups of cactus, Mark told me that he was completely taken by the cactus here. And very interestingly, if they're still back there, on two of the cactus close-up paintings that he did, you'll see the grasses in the image. Well, he told me that while he was on the scene, he broke off one of the spines from the prickly pear, and he used that on his painting as a brush. And so he's got these fine grass lines across the scene in front of the cactus. They are beautiful, and I was intrigued by those, didn't know what I was looking at when I was judging. And actually, I was going to give him one of these awards for one of those smaller cactus paintings. And then when the museum was in here judging the same time I was, when they said, well, we want to buy this for the museum, that's all you got, Mark. But you were in good shape either way. The beautiful painting. This is my third place award to Spencer Mager. And this is acrylic. A lot of his work is watercolor. I think I have that right, if I'm remembering correctly. And beautiful, beautiful group of work again. But this, I just loved this. It was different than almost anything in the show, which that gets points right away because of the uniqueness. It's very graphic, almost illustration-like, but not. It's impressionistic, and it in this state and in this town, I think a scene like this is very compelling. It's the tack room, And so you see the rope down on the bottom right, and the hats are so well done. I was very, very happy to give this award for this painting, although there were others from Spencer that were really worthy. Congratulations, Spencer. Yes. Ah, good. In person, the top 4. Thank you. So you'll be Vanna? Uh-huh. Good. And so here, is that what you got, Bill Farnsworth right there? Yeah, this was so good, Bill. You know, it was really, I was excited to see it. There was something, and I may be wrong, but there was something reminiscent of, well, certainly your work in general, and maybe this piece specifically, of a great piece of yours from last year that I think I wasn't able to give an award to because of limitation of awards. I can't remember, but I loved your work then, love it more than ever this year. This is an absolute masterpiece of a little painting, a wonderful design with the sun reflecting back here on the water. I mean, you can see this is the hot spot right here. Fabulous clouds, very impressionistic. The title, so is it, how do you pronounce the river? Lippen or Lipan? Lipan. It's the Lipan River. All right, I love that. And I love the title. And there is something to be said for great titles.
Yeah,
The Lipan Giveth.
That does get that crazy. It's a lot of good results.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that happens around water, as you all know here in Texas. But this is juicy and rich and so exceedingly well done. Second place award, $2,200 and more, featured dad. So congratulations, good job. Best body of work. So Richard Schneery. Everything here is watercolor, Richard? Where'd Richard go? He didn't duck out, did he? Yeah, here he is. Come on, Richard. So,
And I'm just frog.
yeah, understandably, unless you're an octopus. So, here's one of his work. So, I've been a fan of Richard's work for a long time, have really seen him on the art trail forever. He and I are old guys, so we've been around, but the beauty of this, again, in the one that I was able to, the one artist that I was able to narrow it down to best body of work, to have these 5, the diversity again, you know, you got landscape here and here, great architecture here and here, and landscape, and then this beautiful picture of the tack room, the saddles here was really different, and that, again, that's what I as a judge look for, is that diversity, so it's not more of the same. And that was a pretty bold painting to do this one. That really sucked me in. I spoke to him about it today. He said that it started off badly, took a lot longer to finish than he had intended, but it paid off big dividends. And you know, there's a few of these are now sold. There's a couple still available, so it would be opportunity for you to do that. Your watercolors are just second to none, Richard. Congratulations and thank you. So we are at the, and that was a $3,000 prize. So I mentioned last night, and I think it's worth mentioning again today. So on any given day, on any given year, any given judge, you get different results. And last year now, so I mentioned specifically that I know Christine, we're not close friends, but we've been friendly along the way for a long time. I bumped into her in Paris one day in a restaurant, sidewalk restaurant in Paris. So I've known her, but as a judge, that never really affects me because, you know, I'm judging the artwork, I'm not judging my friendships, or I'm not judging the person. And so for Christine, last year, she had great artwork in this show, but I didn't give her any awards simply because other work spoke more to me than her work did last year. So it's, you know, it's the job of a judge to be completely unbiased and to be neutral. So I feel successful in that. But that didn't affect me this year when she just hit every painting out of the ballpark. So, whew, you really got me. So this painting was one, there were the water lily paintings that you did that hung underneath this one could have been grand prize winner as well. There was another on the wall that was a contender, but this was far and away the one. Again, this was interesting because it was, well, let me say first, the quality of the painting is second to none. And the fact that you carry out your impressionistic intent so evenly and across the board, you know, the water here and the floor down here is just amazing and beautiful, and surrounded by the darkness of the trees. So you create this spot here, the breadth of the city across here. Now you painted this from the rooftop of the museum. About what time did you go up there?
First day, I started at 5:30.
5:30 in the afternoon.
And then,
First day.
yeah.
There were more days.
It was another day because
Yep.
I had to redo the sky.
Okay, so you're up there a second time to redo the sky, she says. But this is, so first of all, artistically, it's a major success. Secondly, it's unique, almost unique in the room, which certainly gives an edge because there were, you know, when you're in San Angelo, you're typically not painting city scenes. It's about the ranches, it's about the land, and so that's another story. But, you know, the heart of San Angelo certainly is key to the whole area and the community around us. It certainly would have been, had it not been the grand prize winner, it certainly could have been the spirit of San Angelo as well. So just a true masterpiece. You know, as the judge, I can never be vying or competing with collectors for a show, but man, I wish this was going home with me. Well, maybe is there, you know, could we start a bidding process maybe? I think there more than one person has said that to me. So this is really A Night at the Museum, great title by the way, and just, you know, major kudos for this and all of your success this year, Christine. Really fabulous. So that's my analysis of the art and the awards. I'm very grateful. I am honored to be here. I love all you guys, the artists and the residents of the area. It's just a joy to be in the mix. I do suspect I'll be back next year and not working. It'll be great to just be. And a special thanks to my hostess, Deborah Weatherford, who has made my 3 years here amazing. Thank you, Deborah. And of course, the two ladies that make this all happen, you know, you guys are amazing. So, yes. Am I done?
So, we have a few paintings left, not a lot, but we've already had an amazing sales.